I've been exposed to these hazing cases for over 30 years. And over time, I've seen way too much pain and suffering for the victims and their families. Danny Santulli, the saddest hazing story of my 44 years of practicing law. Danny was a freshman at Mizzou, University of Missouri. Came from a wonderful family. And they started hazing him for over a month at Mizzou as a brand new freshman. They made him be at the frat house all the time. And he had to wait on these guys hand and foot. He'd have to do homework for them. They'd send him to classes and he had to sign them into classes. He'd have to use his own money to go buy booze. He'd have to go use his money to buy pot. He'd have to come to the frat house and clean their room. He'd have to clean their car. You'd say, well, who would do that? I wouldn't. You're sitting there saying, I wouldn't do that. Well, guess what? A lot of people do. They do it because they want to be they want to get accepted into these fraternities and sororities. They do it. So he would do these things, and it wore him down. So by October of his freshman year, he was so worn out from having to be at the frat house morning, noon, and night that he was having a mental breakdown. And his sister came to see him because she was a junior when he was a freshman, came by one night to see him, and he broke down and cried. She said, I never saw him cry before in my entire life. He broke down and cried. He said, I just can't take it anymore. And she said, Danny, you can just quit, just quit. And he says, no, I don't want to be a quitter. And I don't want these guys to call me a quitter. And I've come this far and I'm almost done. So he didn't quit. And 4 days later, he was permanently blind, brain damaged, could not walk, could not speak, and he will be this way for the rest of his life. So who gets sued? The person who does the hazing gets sued. Those who helped him. Those who could have stopped him but failed to do so, if they had a duty to stop, they get sued. And the fraternity or sorority gets sued too. People go to jail for this. Not just theoretically go to jail or hypothetically go to jail, they actually go to jail. Long story short, if you do these things, not only will you be criminally prosecuted, you will be civilly sued, and these cases will haunt you. And you all are sitting here right now, and you haven't screwed up. So it's not too late for you. You see, you don't have to say, oh God, I wish I could turn the clock back. You haven't done anything, you haven't hazed, you haven't caused serious injury, you haven't caused death. There's no risk of you being prosecuted. So you're in a beautiful position. Just don't do it.